Today, Pratik is with us. Pratik is BTech in Electrical Engineering from NIT Jamshedpur. He is from electrical engineering, but he secured a job in software product based company, and he also secured internship in Amazon. Amazon, the biggest dream company of software field. So this video is very important for all the students who are from core branch and want to pursue their career in software field, and it also shows the mirror to all of students who are in the software field but always cry about the timing. They say we don't have much time to prepare for coding. Like, one, if a person from the core branch can prepare, then you have ample amount of time, at least much more time than the Pratik. Welcome, Pratik, in our channel.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
It's our pleasure only. So, Pratik, first question I want to ask: how is it difficult or different for you to prepare for any software-based product company? Like, you have to study your own subject and as well as the coding and all the computer science subject as well. So, how is it difficult or different for you?
The most difficult part for any course student is to decide as to what career option he really want to pursue. Next, it should be the right time as to when you decide as to what you really want to go. And finally, the time management is quite important because you have to maintain your CGPA as well. As most of the companies have minimum CGPA criteria of 7. So that is also quite important. So these three factors played quite important role during my journey towards my internship success as well.
We will go all three steps one by one. First question is, how did you decide and when did you decide you want to pursue your career in software field?
During my first semester, I was into coding, and later on during my second and third semester, I was into core subjects. Just to be sure, I really want to go with software part. During the starting of my fourth semester, I was completely sure, yeah, this is what I really want to do. When I legitimately started, working on software.
So, how did you manage your timing? Because you have to study your own subject of electrical branch as well as the you have to prepare for coding and core subject or a computer science. Coding itself takes too much time. So, how did you manage your timing?
So you being an engineering grad, you also know like we have ample amount of time. So basically, it all comes down to one thing, like how do you plan it and how do you execute it. So basically, I'll tell you about my core subjects. For my core subjects, I just studied from exam 15 days before. That was quite enough to get a good marks as well. And for codings, for my software section, I had to plan out the things like if I want to dedicate 2 hours of my day towards it, I stick to it and I completed it with a strict deadline as well. So this planning was quite important for my journey, and yeah, it showed quite great results.
What was your preparation strategy for internship as well as the placement? Is it the same as a computer science student or you have to give some extra effort?
Okay, so I'll tell you like it was quite similar to a computer science guy. So basically, I started with implementation questions and algorithms. And during this time, I also, learned the in and outs of the language that I was using. In my case, it was C, C++. And post that, I move on to data structures, learning about the basics of data structures. Once these three things was covered, like how when you see a problem, how do you think, how do you approach the problem, then how to code a solution, and next how to use data structures in your programming. When these three things were clear, I moved on to online platforms like InterviewBit. Importance of interview bit in my preparation was like it brought me very close to the company's interview because the questions are from the previously asked questions from some of the big tech companies like Google and Microsoft. So I went during this time I went too close to how they really ask the question, how to approach it. Post that, I moved on to Code Forces. It conducts a contest on a regular basis. Those are generally 2 hours contests, so that's the time you are being allotted by most of the companies. So that was also a good thing that I did, and it was important because I learned how to code solution efficiently and quite in a fast manner, because time also matters a lot during your interview rounds. So that was these two platforms were quite played a quite important role during my preparation.
How much time it will take for you to prepare for only coding and data structure, and how did you handle the pressure that time? Because when you was studying programming and data structure, many of the computer science student was already working on the code 7 code 4.
There are many things that will in your journey that will come in your way. So basically, if you are thinking about each and everything, that will put additional pressure on you. So like I told you earlier, you have to plan out your things and basically stick to it, no matter what does the other guy do or how much of the syllabus he has completed. That doesn't matter. If you have planned out your things very precisely and in an efficient manner, and you really stick to it, I think there's no way you should be worried about the other guy.
How did you prepare for core subject of the computer science? Like they are also asked in the company. So how did you prepare and how much time did you give for it?
So I'll tell you about my preparation strategy. I followed a lot of online tutorials and then going for Geeks for Geeks. So initially, it took me around 10 to 15 days for each subject to complete. Later on, how I changed my strategy. Like just before any companies, I used to go through all the headings in Geeks for Geeks, and if I was not able to recollect about the concepts or the insights, I went through the articles. So basically, it saved my time, and I was in continuous cycle of this preparation, and I remembered all the concepts quite well. So this was the strategy that I followed, and it worked for me.
So you were selected for internship for Amazon, the really huge dream company. So what was your Amazon interview experience?
So my Amazon interview experience was like there was one online round which was an elimination round, and post that there was one technical round of interview. And in online round, which was an hour, which was an hour round, there were a couple of coding questions and around 30 aptitude questions. One question was of easy level, and the other question was, as per I remember, was from graph, which may be termed as difficult. It involved BFS and DFS. So I was shortlisted for interview round. In interview round, they basically stick down to data structures and algorithm and some of the subjective questions. They really, want to see like how do you approach a problem, how do you convey your solution, and how much clean code do you write down. So that was the basic points that they were looking for. And for subjective questions, they were like that was of easy to average level. That was not so difficult.
Finally, Pratik, in the after 6 semester, he completed the internship in the huge company, dream company, Amazon. And after that, he started for the placement. He nailed a software developer post in Optum, which is United Healthcare Group company, and it is a really good product-based company. So tell us, what was your interview experience for Optum?
So it was online coding round and 2 rounds of technical interview and one HR round.
So how was your experience in coding round of Optum?
There were a couple of coding questions and around 30 aptitude question here as well. Coding questions can be termed from easy to moderate, as you had to use arrays, and some of the questions were from string as well. So they were I can term it from easy to moderate. The selection criteria was mainly aptitude question, because it was some of the questions were also from cat level as well. So and in around 30 minutes you had to solve 30 questions. So this was whoever has the speed will make it to the shortlisted list. So this was the important thing that played an important role in for your selection to interview rounds.
How was your interview experience in the Optum? There are two technical rounds. So how is it different from each other and what was the difficulty level?
So I'll tell you, like for other students, other candidates, it was from moderate to hard level. But for me, it was quite easy peasy because they were focusing more on my projects at my internship. So as I coded, as I coded it from scratch. So like if the questions would have been from any corner of the project, I would have answered it easily. And mostly like they focused on APIs and all. How do we hit an API? How do we extract data from API? So I did my projects, my own projects on APIs, like I building a API, how to get data from API. So it was easy for me. So this is here how your projects help you during your interview.
Congrats, you are selected for the Optum and his joining is on 27th or might be this video will be released after 27th. So he is already placed, we can say. So, but before that, I want to ask one more question. You might have seen many failures as well during this placement procedure in the
Yes, yes.
internship as well as in the placement for the job. So, how did you handle that?
There's a saying that every failure teaches you something. So it's quite important that you learn from all your failures, and you don't repeat it. That's most important. I failed during my internship at Optum. Like I didn't qualify for the online round. So there I learned like I have to work on my aptitude. Next, during my Microsoft interview, I reached to the final round of the interviews. So there I learned I should work more on my projects as well. So every failure teaches you something, but it's quite important that you learn from your failures and you work on it. Unless and until you don't work on it, then it becomes futile. It's just useless. You are going for interview experience and not learning anything.
Thank you very much, Pratik, for your time. And I feel that this video could be very helpful for many students, specifically for the core branch students.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for inviting me. I feel if it reaches to even one student and motivates them, then like I would be feeling useful here. And like if anyone has any doubt or something, they can comment it down. I would be very happy to help them out. So please do like, share, and subscribe.